Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies.
Earlier than usual. I want to shout out to a couple places around UConn this morning. We had the Hilltop Apartment Complex. How about that, Ryan? This is something new. I've been into Google Maps lately trying to familiarize myself because you told me, you're like, Phil, I want to make a trip up there soon because they deserve it. Yeah, I mean, they do deserve it. We want to probably take along some T-shirts with us, some good giveaways, and meet a lot of people. How about shout out to the Northwest Dining Hall on campus? Shout out to the UConn Dairy Bar. Ryan, a lot of attractions up there, if you will. So right now, mostly cloudy, 60 up there in stores. I know you can't wait. I can't wait to eventually make a trip up north. But for now, Ryan, let's go ahead and focus on today's topic. UConn women's basketball unveils the freshman jersey numbers. And I know it's getting closer and closer to November, and this is just another sign, right? So tell us, Ryan, your biggest takeaways on this Friday. TGIF, KK Arnold was assigned jersey number 2, Caden Samuels, number 4, Ashlyn Shade, number 12, Yana Al-Alfi, number 24, and we're going to send it right on over to you for you to tell us what your biggest takeaways were when you found out yesterday about jersey numbers.
Well, I just think it must be an exciting feeling for all of these freshmen to receive their jersey numbers and to finally get their official UConn jersey and just put it on for the first time must feel incredible. I can't imagine that feeling of officially knowing that you are a UConn Husky. So I'm sure a lot of childhood dreams come true, and as they're getting their jersey numbers and practicing with the whole team now, I think finally they did go through their first full workout as a team. I believe I saw the other day. So really exciting things happening right now on the UConn campus for all of the players, not just the freshmen. But KK goes from number 1 in high school to number 2 now as the UConn Husky. Ashlyn Shade keeps her high school number as number 12. Cadence Samuels goes from number 10 to number 4 now as the UConn Husky. And then, of course, like you mentioned, Yana Al-Alfi goes to number 24, and her high school number was 8, which I find interesting because I don't know if there's any relation or correlation with both the numbers, but those are both the numbers that Kobe Bryant wore. So Yana Al-Alfi has worn both of Kobe Bryant's numbers, number 8 when she played for Egypt, and then now number 24 for the UConn Huskies. So, like I said, exciting things. And I saw a comment about these jersey numbers, and someone said they don't know why, but it just seems like that these numbers fit these freshmen so well. And I don't know how to describe it either. It just seems like these numbers fit all of these players really well. So hopefully all the numbers align this season, and we can have another great season this year for UConn.
Yeah, we talk about just sports related, how important jersey numbers are. Sometimes it's also indicative of the player's position, especially when you talk about football. But in this case, women's basketball. Ryan, I know the NFL has kind of adjusted some and to allowing other players or more players wear the numbers of their choice. But yeah, in other words, I always liked, and I brought it up last year, and I'll bring it up again this year. I think jersey numbers are always important because sometimes the media even doesn't catch a hold of this. Sometimes, Ryan, that number on their back may be a story behind a reason why they have that number on their back. So again, when you talk about just obviously about a half an hour where you are, 20, 30 minutes west of me, it was Sailor Poffenberger was the last player to wear that number 4. So, and now Caden Samuels takes it over in the year 2023-24. So the most recent Sailor Poffenberger, most notable Ryan, Mariah Jefferson. And I know you remember that name. Jefferson, one of Arnold's. How about one of KK Arnold's favorite players? So I come to find that out while reading the article yesterday. Came to find that out. So, but I was obviously I'm when you talk about KK Arnold, it says that she rocked #1 with both her high school and AAU team. But Gino Auriemma has a rule against players wearing the digit. And even if he didn't, Paige Beckers would probably have it anyways. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an adjustment, not that big, but yeah, definitely KK Arnold. That's definitely a player that we want to watch. We can't wait to see hit the floor, get some playing time. #2, right? So I think it's just obviously, again, I think it's important to remember sometimes as us being fans, UConn Huskies women's basketball fans, it's important for you and I and everybody watching this on this podcast, our subs and everybody around UConn and around the nation, to remember that sometimes, Ryan, it's not always about well, it's just a number on their back. Sometimes, again, you and I don't have that inside information. It could be a bigger reason why they're wearing that number.
Yeah, and I think at times it's the little things that get overlooked, such as jersey numbers. And I think like we mentioned last year, announcing that their jersey numbers for the last freshman that came through. Like you said, there could be many stories behind the players wearing these numbers, and I just think sometimes the bigger headlines overshadow some of the smaller headlines like jersey numbers. So sometimes it's the little things that can catch your eye and really make for an incredible story. So, but it can also mean that, like you mentioned, the season is just getting that much closer as we're getting the jersey numbers on these freshmen. And like I mentioned before, they're undergoing the summer workouts and getting the full workouts as a team. So very, very exciting times as we're already in June. So summer workouts are in full swing. And yeah, I mean, hopefully, everybody can get acquainted with each other. The freshmen are officially on campus for almost a week now, I believe. So getting used to everybody down there and all the coaches. So getting pretty excited for the new season.
And sometimes it's the shorter comments that mean the most to us. So thank you again, everyone, for coming through on that last video. Ryan, let's jump right over into comments. Jack Mail, you guys are wrong. Ice Brady has more offensive potential than Ayanna. Ayanna did not show that much last year. Ayanna would have to show tremendous change from last year to get minutes.
Well, I mean, I kind of disagree with this one because I think, Ayanna definitely has some room for improvement. I talked about a lot last year how she came off the bench, and I really just like the energy and effort that she put forth. And it really did make a difference when she came in. You could notice when Ayanna came into the game and really did fight for the rebounds and put in the effort that Gino is looking for, and just the effort that the team needed as they were trying to just struggle with some of those games, just get into the fourth quarter at times. But Ayanna can definitely get a lot better on offense. I feel sometimes she got really unlucky and didn't really get shots to fall, but she can definitely make huge improvements, and I hope she does during the off season. And the thing I'm worried about with Ice is that we haven't seen her in an actual game, and with that injury, obviously the talent is there, but I'm not sure if the injury has any effect on how she was before. Let's hope not. I hope she can get back to how she played as she was getting ready to come in for her freshman season. But I know Ice has a lot of potential, but Ayanna is definitely a very gifted player as well.
Hey, how about our good buddy, Jason D'Amico? These rookies better come ready to play. My gut is telling me Paige is looking for some serious payback. I was rewatching the second half of last season and specifically watching Paige on the bench, and it is self-evident that Paige's attitude changed. Sitting on the bench, watching her teammates take a beating week after week changed her perspective. For the first time, I saw Paige angry. If she is healthy, UConn opponents should be very worried. She was already a killer, but now she is a killer with a motive, and that would transcend the sum of her past victories. Be afraid, be very afraid. Peace, fellas. I love it, man, because now, Ryan, you know what I preached leading up into the season-ending injury last year when you and I were out on the football field together, throwing the ball around, and we received that horrible news. So now, again, people are starting. I like Jason starting all off with Jason D'Amico, him and I, and I'm sure down the line, a lot of people, not just him and I, we are, preaching to watch out. PB is back, Ryan.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to it for quite some time now, and I think that goes for a lot of the athletes. Whenever you have to sit on the bench, whether it's for a bad injury or just even a couple of days, or you miss a couple of games, or you get benched for not playing up to your potential, and the coach intentionally benches you. No matter what the situation is, I think it does change a lot of athletes' mentality when they have to sit on the bench and they're not able to play, they're not able to help their team win. I think it really does change your mentality, and hopefully for Paige it has, and she can play somehow better than she did her freshman year and some of her sophomore year.
And let's not forget, Ryan, Paige Beckers is a young lady that has won an ESPY award for the best college women's athlete. So I'm just saying, take it for what it is. But I mean, that's sometimes I feel like that gets overlooked in women's basketball. I mean, don't let the injuries fool you, man. I mean, just let me stop there. How about let's get down to, I like this one a lot. General lesson in life. Don't give up on anyone. But hey, especially with you and I being huge sports fans, don't ever give up on athletes. Michelle Lawson. Amari needs to work with a retired NBA basketball forward, one that made the Hall of Fame. The time to start is now. The offseason, Boston worked with, I guess she meant last offseason, I believe. Boston worked with Tim Duncan. Never give up. That's great.
Yeah, I think for Amari, it would definitely benefit her to play or to train or practice with someone like she just mentioned, with a retired player that kind of knows how the system works, and has some really good advice for Amari. I think that would definitely benefit her a lot. But I just think anything to get Amari a little bit motivated and kind of get her working on her game and improving, anything to improve Amari's game. And I think, just get a little bit of her confidence back. I think she could use a really big confidence boost, and I think that would really help her game out as well.
Now listen to this. To close out this episode, Ryan, let's just see. You and I do a little experiment. Let's just see how many comments that we get in reference to this. So I'm seeing it's almost 12 o'clock, right, over here, our time. Almost time to eat an early lunch. I'm wondering right here, I'm looking, I see Market Restaurant, right, up near Stores. How about Moe's Midtown Restaurant? I see Elmer's Place and Great Oaks Restaurant. Scrolling on down, how about Fernwood Restaurant, Sisters Restaurant, Emerald's Eatery? So, Ryan, how about we do this? How about you tell them what you're looking forward to the most as far as food when we come up and visit, and let's see if we can have some people come through with recommendations, great recommendations for food. What does Ryan like to eat?
I think, favorite food is always a tough question for me, but I always go back to pizza as one of my favorite foods. So if there's a good pizza joint down there, a really good pizzeria, definitely let us know for sure.
All right, pizza it is, Ryan. I'll go and get some pizza in the oven for you, and I'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Phil and Ryan, listen up.